rhyme assassin.
Yeah, the rhyme assassin.
Yo,
Yeah,
rhyme assassin.
Yo, Uncle Rhyme.
Yeah,
What up? Gonna do it like this.
rhyme assassin. Deep voice. Crack, cheek, cheek, cheek. Rhyme apostles. Yeah. Let's give it to them. They ain't ready for us, man. It's a global situation. Listen. What? A blast from the past, Philly smoke, ash in my ash. On your rhyme book, watch these bars crash in your ass. Like an out of control Buick Electra, deuce in the quarter. Crumple metal moves your troops from the border.
What's up, guys? Your boys are back. I'm Ryan, my man George.
Yeah, what's saying, guys? How you living out there, man? Shout out to the free thinkers, of course. Shout out to everybody that's been following us on Def to Radio, our Instagram, and DefToRadio.com. Our website, make sure you guys follow us on both. Great way to support the channel as far as DefToRadio.com is concerned, and a great way, of course, to get on our radar for requests. Literally at this moment, I was looking on Instagram and DefToRadio.com as we were recording, tracks to do off this Russ Santiago album, and we ran into Enough, which we have already done. We'll see when this video comes out, and we're doing I Love You Boy, literally from, again, looking at DefToRadio.com and our Instagram. So, again, make sure you guys follow us there. The information for both will be in the description.
And as always, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure it's set to all so you get all our videos as they drop. Up-and-coming artists, man. Click the link in the description. We'll do about 60 seconds of your song in the front of one of our up-and-coming videos to get you some exposure. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check that out, man. So as George just said, man, getting back to another Russ song off the Santiago project. I Love You Boy is the name of this song. Enough. We were impressed with that, man. I don't know when you guys are going to see that. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you check that out, man. Enough was definitely enough. He did his thing, man.
Yes, he did.
He did his thing.
He was cooking on that, man. He showed a different side of himself, I feel like, from what we've experienced. Well, I shouldn't say we experienced Perfectionist, which is one of my favorite songs this year in any genre. I really love that song. And so we got a taste of what he was going to be doing on Santiago when we did the Perfectionist reaction. So I'm expecting more of that for I Love You Boy. Yeah, that album cover, boy, is you know what I'm saying? I might need to do a deep dive on that at some point, but we're gonna go ahead and move along. But let's get into it, man. Russ, I Love You Boy. I love you, boy.
Yeah, you grew up in an environment that was hostile. It got wild. Arguments you heard as a small child had an effect that left you with a lot to undo. Your first words were screaming at your mom saying fuck you. Imagine the visual. Diaper on, already dealing with the residual effects of an explosive father figure was difficult. Mama was miserable. His love felt conditional. You better be perfect, otherwise he'll be hypercritical. Belittle you till you nothing. Yeah, it hurts to listen. Neither parent knew how to regulate the nervous system. Dad was reactive. Mom was fatalistic. No one to protect you. Grandfather paid a visit to take you and your siblings and your mama far away. 29 years later, she regrets that she stayed. You were doomed from the start. You were hurt and ostracized. There's a wound in your heart. Survival mode. You're traumatized.
Wow.
For real.
Yeah. He went there.
Yeah, man.
He went there.
Ouch.
There we go. I think in the last video, I'm just gonna let the cat out there. In the last video, Enough, I was talking about the specifics of what drove Russ to feeling the way he felt, right? And it's sort of describing what the torment he was going through. And I'm like, well, what are the specifics behind that? Well, I think we got some specifics in this song.
I guess you can kind of always go back and depict, in people's lives when there was kind of a change, and you're so impressionable as a kid, man. And I think that really can mold how you, not necessarily the person you become, but I think it can mold how you view the world, And
just just your habits.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Your instinctual habits,
His mom was miserable, and I guess she ended up staying, but just like unhappy for 29 years. Grandfather came over to kind of like maybe be like the voice of reason, said, let me get these kids out of this situation, and then he said something in here that kind of stuck with me. He said, belittling you till you're nothing. And yeah, that hurts.
He said, you grew up in an environment that was hostile. So he's talking about the hostile environment that he grew up in, where his mom and his dad were arguing and they were kind of at each other's throats, right? He said, arguments you heard as a small child had an effect that left you with a lot to undo. Your first words were screaming at your mom saying, fuck you. Imagine the visual, diaper on, already dealing with the residual. So I thought that was really, really, really written well. Because I think that what he's alluding to there is he's mentioning like a baby, like you can picture a baby saying fuck you, right? It's not literally a baby saying fuck you, but it's just you were doomed, almost like you were doomed from the start, right?
Yep.
You were sort of incubated in misery. You know what I'm saying, right? Like their relationship, the hostility in their relationship affected you before you even got there.
Yeah.
Right? So you coming out already angry, already you didn't have any hope to start, right? Is what I feel like he's getting at there, which I thought the writing in that was really well done.
Yeah, he said that how he ended the verse, man. He said you were doomed from the start. To your point, George,
yeah.
he's all you were hurt, ostracized. There's a wound in your heart, survival mode, you're traumatized. You know what I'm saying? The pain that you had as a child, you carry that. You know what I'm saying? And this survival mode, I'm going to protect that at all costs.
All right, let's get back to it. Great first verse, though.
In your mama far away, 29 years later, she regrets that she stayed. You were doomed from the start, you were hurt and ostracized. There's a wound in your heart, survival mode, you're traumatized. For real. I love you. Created to protect the kid in you is hard to manage. Supreme confidence, deep crippling insecurity. The damage that's been done is explicit and abusive and a critic. Nothing that you ever do is really good enough, is it? You didn't get validation from your dad, so you replaced them with the industry and started to rap. You wanted praise and acknowledgement and picked a profession that people who look like you don't get. Now the rage of accomplishments being ignored. Authoritative outside force that you, yet again, apparently aren't good enough for. All fueled you need to be like the
Sorry.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's heavy right there.
Yes,
though.
it is, man. But he started with saying, like, the monster you created to protect the kid in you. You know what I mean? So all that damage from the first verse that we learned, you know, when you was a child, all that damage and it's survival mode, I'm going to protect it at all costs. It's hard to manage, but it's a monster, right? It's growing, it's building because you can, you know, hurt people is what they say, right? He kind of goes into all of the, you know, supreme confidence, deep crippling insecurities. The damage has been done is explicit, is what he said, right? Abusive and critic, right? Nothing's ever good enough, right? Is it? You know, so no matter what you do, it's never going to heal the damage that he experienced as a kid and the monster he created to protect it. It's still not good enough. I feel like he's still
chasing it, right?
chasing for that validation and chasing, because he said that, right? You didn't get the validation from your dad, so you replaced it with the industry and started to rap, right? Replaced your dad with the rap game that is still not going to give you the validation that you think that you're searching for, that you probably deserve, that you should have got as a kid, that you can't get in the rap game, even though you're doing great things and you're very accomplished and very successful. So it's a vicious cycle. What do you do? And he said, yet again, apparently you aren't good enough for, right? All fueled you. And your need to be liked and feel wanted consumed you, you know? So it's, again, that vicious cycle, man, that we talk about, man. And I just really think that was very, very well written, very introspective, and almost sad, man. You know, almost sad that you kind of, you know, see that everyone has issues, you know what I mean? Right. Even though you might see from the outside, like, man, they got everything, man. You know, they got the fame, they got the this, they got the that, they got money, you know? But everyone has their own insecurities and their own demons that they have to deal with, man. I thought this was super dope.
Yep, let's keep it going. Very good writing by Russ. Let's get back to it.
You wanted praise and acknowledgement and picked a profession that people who look like you don't get. Now the rage of accomplishments being ignored. Authoritative outside force that you, yet again, apparently aren't good enough for. All fueled you. You need to be liked and feel wanted, consumed you. That's why you called a chick every night to come do you. Only to be left feeling less than before. Didn't have the tools to manage stress. You're at war with yourself. You need love. Drinking to forget that being you is not enough. Overcompensating in interviews, trying to prove that you're right. Maybe then you'll be like trying to prove you're worthy of approval you weren't shown in your home. I'm sorry that I ever left you all alone.
Literally.
round of applause. The sound of the song makes you think I'm not proud, but you're wrong. Look how far you took it. International bookings. You gave your family a cushion, and through the hate you kept pushing. Knew you had people looking up to you. You held your composure as hell moved closer. You a soldier. It's a shock that you were ever sober. I never told you how I feel. I apologize. A lot of guys would have folded. Guess I'm not surprised. You prophesized this from the get-go. Anything you wanted, went and got it cause you said so. Plaques, women fighting over you like Shevchenko. 7-figure checks, private jets. Your best friends know your character. You prove that by sharing your successes and blessings. But when you hurt, we hurt. Breakdowns mean that it's time for a rebirth. So you carried me as far as you could go. Now it's time to say goodbye before I leave. You should know though. Yeah.
Let it go. Let's go.
Overcompensating in interviews portion is what I want to talk about, because that is what I've always seen, what I felt with Russ. You know what I mean? I think it was, what was that show, Everyday Struggle, that I saw him on Everyday Struggle. Was an interview. It was him, Academics, and Nadeska. And he gave Nadeska hell from what I remember. Like, he was really trying to, you know, because it was something about a blog that shitted on him or something like that. I don't remember the specifics of that interview, but I remember thinking like, damn, this motherfucker is so fixated on having that moment where he's like, I got you, now what? You know what I'm saying? Now you gotta kiss my ass, and now you gotta what? It just felt like that to me. Like, he couldn't wait to get that clip off to like let them know you fucked up by ignoring. Because I think he said he sent an email out or something like that, and then Nadeska was like, yo, we get like 1,000 emails, man. It's not like we were targeting you and ignoring you. It was like, man, fuck all that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm who I am. You should have got to me, got back. Something like that. I'm not quoting exactly, but something along the lines of Nadeska or somebody, or she worked for a blog or something like that, and they didn't get back to him, and he just felt this sense of maybe entitlement or figuring like, that he got shitted on, when it really wasn't him really getting shitted on. It was just that you can't get back to everyone. So he just took that so personally and was being really, really hard on Nadeska in that interview. So when he says overcompensating in interviews, trying to prove that you're right, I think of that interview, just trying to, this chip on your shoulder to prove that you're right, even at the expense of coming off like kind of like an asshole, to keep it real with you. So that's just what I just wanted to touch that. It made me think of that interview.
Love this last verse, man. When he said you deserve a pat on the back, a round of applause, the sound of the song makes me think I'm not proud of you, but you're wrong. When he said that right there, I thought he was talking about his dad. I thought his dad was telling him, dude, I'm proud of you, man. I'm sorry that I didn't show you that as a kid. And I know, we had, a difficult, you had a difficult childhood because of what was going on with your mom and me. That's what I thought. But as he kind of progressed through the song and he said, you carried me as far as you could go, and now it's time to say goodbye. But before I leave, you should know. And then kind of went into the chorus, I love you, boy, right? That made me think that maybe it's the monster that he talked about at the beginning. In the second verse, he said, the monster you created to protect the kid in you is hard to manage. I think that's what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. Shedding that that monster that had to protect his inner heart. He was in survival mode. I think that's what he was doing. He was kind of shedding that, like, you carried me as far as you can go. I thank you, because that pain kind of helped get me to the point that I'm at, right? But you've served your purpose, so to speak, And
you're stagnating the potential next level of growth that I'm trying to achieve.
Exactly, man. So I thought that was great, man. And that I didn't get that until the end of when he said that at the end, you carried me as far as you go, but now it's time to say goodbye. I thought this whole time it was his father giving him the flowers that he didn't give him when he was young. Like, hey, you doing great. I think he had a line in there saying, I was surprised that you were ever sober with all the shit that you kind of went through from your childhood all the way up until now, through your career and the trials and tribulations. You kept, you took care of your people. You made sure your family was taken care of, in the midst of all of the bullshit in an industry that probably didn't accept you as well. So I didn't know that it was this.
No, but that was the monster. I'm
Yeah.
proud of you, monster.
Yeah.
You turned me into a monster. I got rich, and you know what I mean. My family got to, off of your back.
Exactly.
Off of this supreme confidence, this sort of, that I put into the world, and then it consumed you to the point where you were obsessively trying to be the best. And you know what Russ likes to say, he does his own engineering, he does his own beats, he does the singing, you know what I'm saying, does that, he sets the lighting up for himself. That's all. That monster is what consumed him and made him do all that, right? To get into that. So yeah, it's fun. But I love you, boy. I think it's just, like you said, it's his inner child, man, that turned into a monster, that inner insecure part of himself that resulted from sort of a hostile environment that he grew up in. So he really, really went there. He really was very introspective. I think he took his writing up to a completely different level. I think there's layers upon layers to this. And I'm just loving where he's at from a lyrically, he's incredible. And I think the music was fine. The music was cool. The beat was cool. I think it was almost necessary for what he was talking about to have a beat like this.
Right.
So this is what we always ask of artists, man. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. We like the swag rap. We like all of that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But who are you? Like, I feel like we're getting to know who he is. I feel like there's artists out there who shall remain nameless that are like supreme all-time great artists to a lot of people. But I'm like, who the fuck is this person? Like, I don't even know who this person is. They just make a whole bunch of cool swag fly club rap, which is fine. But I do think that they're always, when I talk about like my favorite artist and when I like rank them in my head, I do. When I rank artists, they're always not going to be in that upper echelon of lyricism, because as great as they are at making this swag rap and this big boy talk and all this other shit, they're just limited. And I don't know who they are versus people who are really bearing their soul on a track. And I think that this is just Russ unlocking, a different side of himself and showing versatility. You know what I mean? I think it's just great. He wants to be great and he wants to improve himself. I'm sure this has been very therapeutic for him. So very impressed, man, with Russ.
Man.
From Perfectionist on, it's been a different level, in my opinion.
Me too.
Shout out to Russ. Shout out to everybody that requested that one. Keep them coming. We'll try to get something. We're not guaranteeing it, but we'll try to maybe get to something else off the album. Go to defteradio.com and put your request in, and also, of course, Instagram as well. I'm George. That's Ryan. Lost to Vegas.
We out.